Hi, I'm Rose Castillo with Crafty Night Owls. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I'm going to show you how to make this cute little box. And you might be thinking, well, what am I going to do with that box? It has holes on the top of it. Well, this is just a little organizer to put on your desk. You can put a mono glue, you could put a pen, you could put the pick tool if you wanted, or you could even put some paper snips right there, whichever one. You can put a bone folder here, or you can even put your bone folder and your scissors there and your pick tool, and then you could just set that on your desk, and there all those things would be right in front of you whenever you needed it. Now, I saw this idea on Pinterest, and I cannot remember the name of the person that I saw that had done this, and unfortunately they're in another country, so the language I think was in French or German, I can't remember which, but I saw it and I thought, oh, that is so cute and that'd be perfect. I especially like the idea of being able to store my mono like this, only because once you get towards the end, usually like you have to shake it to get it to the bottom here, so that when you put it on your project, it's ready to go, because typically we stand them that way because that's the way it's meant to. But I always use the fine tip, not this wide end. So this is a perfect way for me to be able to store my glue, and I really like the idea. Now, I couldn't read the instructions, obviously, because I didn't speak the language. And second, I did see the numbers, but they were in centimeters, not in inches. Being in the US, we use inches. And so I thought, well, let me see if I can remake this. And I did remake it. And then I thought, well, maybe I will try a video, even though I haven't done one in about 6 or more months. I thought it's about time. I had some goals. I failed. Just honestly, I just failed at my goals that I set for this year for my Stampin' Up! Business. And so anyway, there's no time like the present to start getting back on track, right? So anyway, we're going to make this box. I'm using the Free as a Bird. I used the bundle, and then I also used the Love What You Do, because I needed a sentiment that wasn't like thank you, happy birthday, you know, get well, to put on the front of my box here. And Love What You Do, just kind of, that's part of the statement of the heart of Stampin' Up! And I love crafting, so it just felt perfect. None of these messages really worked, so I went without that, and I just used the flowers to decorate. And you can find the bundle on page 8 or page 91 in the catalog. I love that they put all the bundles together this year. And you get the stamp set and these dies here that are like labels that you can use to stamp on and decorate your cards and projects. Anyway, they have a lot of sizes. They have stitching. I love stitching on my dies. That is just perfect. And this set is really cute. I've already used it a couple of times and I'm loving it. The next thing that we used was the Bird Ballard DSP that also coordinates with that bundle. And when you buy the bundle, you actually save 10%, versus when you buy them separately, you pay a little bit more. Then we are going to be using the classic label punch. We're also using the 1 1/4 inch circle punch, the 3/4 circle punch, which this is a retired one, but I'm sure you can find it if you don't already own it, or something in similar in size. And then we're using a 1/2 inch circle punch, which I don't have the updated style, but I have the old version. And then we are using old olive cardstock. We're using, this piece is 3 by 11 and this is a 3 by 4.5. And then we're using an 1.5 inch by 2 1/4 petal pink, Whisper White. I already die cut my label. And then I had a scrap piece where I colored my flowers using Blendabilities, and these are the ones that I use just in case anybody wanted to see. This is Pool Party, yeah, dark and light. This is Daffodil Delight, dark and light. And then I used dark Bermuda Bay, and I used dark Pumpkin Pie just to add a little bit more darkness in my shading. And then I added a little bit of pumpkin pie to the middle there, and then I blended it out with the Daffodil Delight, and I like the way that looked. And then I used also the Magnolia Lane ribbon combo, and this is the thread that comes with it, and it's actually a Mallow Moss, but it ties in really great with the Old Olive. Now let's get to work. This project is not hard at all. I think just figuring out my measurements in the beginning was the hardest thing. I'm gonna use our score tool here, and we're scoring at 2.5, 4 3/4, 7 1/4, and 9 1/2, and that's all the scoring on that piece. And then on this piece, you're just going to score at 1 inch. Oops, do that again. Flip it around and do it on 1 inch. All right, and that's all the scoring. And then just to show you my templates that I ended up making, this is the 3 inch by 4 1/2 inches, and then I pre-punched on this just so that I could have a template to line my punches up, and I would be able to just do this, and it made it easy. And then I could do it with each one. Also, I was trying to get this one here as straight as possible, and then I did the same thing on this. This is 1.5 inches, 2 1/4, 2 1/2, 2 1/4, 2 1/2, and you're going to punch on this one that's right in the center, the panel that's in the center. It's a 2.5 inch in height there, and that's what you're going to want to do. Now, when you glue, I realize that my template's a little backwards, but it won't matter. You'll want to make sure that you line these up. And then let me show you this little template that I have here and what it's going to look like once you put it together. So there's 2 levels. This one's a little bit higher. I ended up shortening it after I made this because I felt like it was a little bit too high. You'll notice I just didn't like the height. So I went ahead and shortened it just a tad, but that's what it's going to look like on the inside when you put it all together. And after you do all your punching on here, then you're going to put your adhesive. And I've already pre-done that, so this doesn't take forever. You're going to put adhesive on this 1.5 inch strip here, and then you're going to put adhesive here on these 1 inch pieces. Okay, then after you put the glue on those pieces there, you're ready to assemble. And put those aside. I'll put my templates aside. And this is the best way that I found. I turned it upside down. I made sure that these are lined up correctly. Now this panel here, I'm going to line with this right on top of this score line that's here. So I'm going to peel off my adhesive. It's been a while since I've made a video, so hopefully I don't forget anything. Just line that right on top of that score line, push down, and then you've got this here. And now we are going to put this bottom edge to this score line here. So it's going to go like that, and that'll bring that together. So let's remove this adhesive. I'm going to try and put all the product numbers on the video, so if you have any questions about the products and what numbers to order, you can do that. If you don't have a demonstrator and you would like to order some of these products, you can go to my Stampin' Up! Website at rosecastillo.stampinup.net. I appreciate any and all orders. Okay, so this is our last little step for the box to be put together here. You're going to just peel off here. And it wouldn't matter if this flap went on the top or the bottom. I just went ahead and put it in the inside because nobody's going to see it anyway, and it'll just look nice and clean. I'm trying not to throw all these little pieces on the floor because I just cleaned them all up off my craft room floor. Anybody else get just like a ton of little dimensional pieces on the floor and scrap papers and punch pieces that fly all over the floor? All right, see, there is our base here. Then the last thing that we are going to use is the Designer Series paper, and we're going to use the Bird Ballard DSP, and it's going to be cut at 2¼ by 12 inches. Okay, my first mistake was I forgot to cut this paper, so I paused and did it. So this is our 12" by 2¼ piece of designer series paper, and I scored 3 inches, 2½ inches, 3 inches, 2½ inches, but because when you're going around a box you have the curve around, you have to go over just a smidge every time over the just a smidge over 3, just a smidge over 2½, you know, just so that it is not short. So anyway, that's just my my little tip there. And then this is going to go around the box just like this, and I'm going to add some adhesive on this panel here on the inside and there also, just to keep my DSP flat. On the sides, unfortunately, there is nothing really to attach it to, so we'll just leave that a little bit open. But we're going to start, I want my motto in the front, so I'm going to make sure that stays there. And then I put adhesive on the front and back piece of this little panel. Let's peel that off. And ouch, stuck that to my finger. And sorry if you can hear my kids. Hopefully they don't interrupt me. I'm almost finished, and then we're just going to go around here. But I'm going to add some adhesive there, right there, and it doesn't have to be crazy amount or anything, just enough so that it sticks. Hold that down for just a half a second and then finish, and I'll add some right here. And then we're going to peel this and be ready to decorate the front. And there you go. Simple. And there's another little stand. I'm gonna have like 3 of these now. I'll have to give them away to people. And then I'm just gonna glue this little piece here. In my original, this isn't my original, I think that one is, my creases, or the end of my DSP met right here in the middle. And so I ended up putting it right in the front of my box on accident. So I added this little piece of paper and I ended up liking that element, so we're gonna do it again. It's always great when you can find a way to cover up your mistakes. It's just paper. There's always something we can do to remedy it. Then we're going to stamp Love What You Do with Memento ink. Go ahead and get that. Now you could always decorate it with like the bird and some flowers instead of a sentiment if you chose to just use that stamp set, or whatever stamp set you choose. You can decorate it in different ways. Then I'm going to take my flowers that I colored, going to add them right here, and almost done with this project. Again, if you need to make an order, anything over $150 in an order would get you hostess benefits, so you'd want to do that. If it's less, don't worry about it. You can place small orders, large orders. It's up to you. But when you do get an order of over $150, you do get the hostess benefits, which is basically, it starts at 10% of your sales. You earn that in free product. So that's always a benefit. Let's put some dimensionals on the back. And I used the larger ones here, but on those smaller flowers, I used the mini dimensionals. And then I added I'm almost out of this thread here, but we're just gonna go around my hand 3 times and cut that off. We're going to kind of stretch that out a little bit, and I'm gonna use a dimensional actually to hold this in place. And you can, let me grab that. Just hold that in place, and you can kind of mess with it before you put this on top. My camera died right before I finished the end of that video, and so I just wanted to come back and say thank you once again for watching my video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see future videos, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Just leave a question in the comment. And if you need products, make sure to visit my website, rosecastillo.stampinup.net. Thank you and have a great day.